All right. Ever dreamed of working with an ocean view?
Haha. Who hasn't?
Well, today's deep dive, we're taking a look at a career that offers just that.
Oh, really? Which one?
Offshore renewable energy plant operators.
Interesting. I'm curious to hear more about this one.
Me too. You sent over some really cool resources from RoleCatcher.
Yeah, they have some good stuff.
And I have to admit, offshore renewable energy plant operator, that's quite a mouthful.
It is quite a title, yeah.
So before we get too far, let's break it down. What exactly do these operators do?
Well, imagine massive structures way out at sea,
Okay, I'm picturing it.
harnessing the power of the ocean, to generate clean energy.
Wow, that's a pretty amazing image.
These operators are essentially the engineers who keep those systems running.
Oh, okay, so they're like the ones making sure everything runs smoothly.
Exactly. Think of it like a futuristic power plant.
I like where you're going with this.
But instead of coal or gas, they're using the power of the ocean itself.
Okay, that is pretty incredible when you think about it.
It really is cutting-edge stuff, and they're responsible for everything. Day-to-day operation, maintenance, you name it.
So it's not just like flipping a switch.
No. We're talking routine checks, troubleshooting complex issues, and often in some pretty difficult situations.
So they're like the, what's the word, guardians, the caretakers of these massive energy-generating machines.
That's a great way to put it.
So it's pretty clear that this job isn't just about breezy ocean views.
Right. Definitely not a day at the beach.
The RoleCatcher resources actually called out the challenging aspects in a section called Cons.
Ah, yes, the good old cons section. Gotta love that dose of reality.
Yeah, and they didn't sugarcoat it. What stood out to me was just how demanding this work can be, especially out on the open ocean.
Well, yeah, you're dealing with Mother Nature at her mightiest, right? Wind, waves, the works.
It sounds like you'd have to be pretty tough to handle that kind of environment day in and day out.
You definitely need to be prepared for anything.
I mean, we're not just talking about a little seasickness here, are we?
Haha, no, not unless you consider 30-foot waves a little.
Okay, point taken. The resources mentioned those kinds of waves, harsh weather, all sorts of potential hazards.
And let's not forget the isolation. You're often miles from shore working on these massive structures.
Right, it's not like you can just call AAA if something goes wrong.
Exactly. So you need to be resourceful, able to think on your feet, and definitely not afraid of heights or getting your hands dirty.
Sounds like it takes a certain kind of person, someone who thrives under pressure.
Absolutely. The resources really emphasize those critical thinking and problem-solving skills.
So it's not just about being physically strong, it's about being mentally agile too.
Exactly. You need to stay calm, assess situations quickly, and find solutions even when the unexpected happens, which, let's be honest, is probably pretty often out there.
It's a whole different ball game from a typical desk job, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So we've talked about the challenges, the environment, the need for a cool head under pressure. But what about the actual work itself? What technical skills do you need to cut it as an offshore renewable energy plant operator?
Well, you might be surprised to hear it's not all just wrenches and grease.
Oh, more high-tech than I'm picturing.
You bet. The RoleCatcher resources actually highlight data analysis as a key skill.
Hold on. Data analysis. Out there on the open ocean.
Absolutely. These systems generate tons of data. We're talking sensors all over these structures monitoring everything.
Okay, starting to sound more like a space station than an oil rig.
Exactly. Operators use that data to understand how the systems are performing, identify potential problems before they become major issues, and even optimize the whole energy generation process.
So it's like being part engineer, part data analyst, all while riding the waves.
You got it.
Now, speaking of qualifications, the RoleCatcher resources mentioned some pretty intense safety certifications. One in particular stood out. BOSIET. That one sounds a little intimidating, to be honest.
Yeah, it's the real deal. BOSIET stands for Basic Offshore Safety Induction and Emergency Training. Essentially, it's a specialized training program designed to prepare you for the unique risks of working offshore.
I can only imagine. Makes sense, though, when you're talking about being miles from shore, potentially in rough conditions. You'd need to be prepared for anything.
Exactly. Safety's the top priority in this line of work.
Absolutely. Now, let's shift gears a bit and talk career progression. Let's say you've braved the elements, mastered the tech, aced your BOSIET training. What's next? Where can his career take you?
Well, according to the RoleCatcher info, there's a pretty clear path for advancement. You might start as an entry-level operator, work your way up to lead operator, and then potentially move into supervisory or management positions.
So there's room to climb the ladder, take on more responsibility.
Definitely. But even beyond promotions, the material emphasized continuous learning. This field is constantly evolving, with new technologies and approaches emerging all the time.
Makes sense. Can't exactly rest on your laurels when the industry's moving that fast.
Exactly. So whether it's pursuing advanced degrees, specialized certifications, or just staying updated on the latest industry trends, continuous learning is key to staying ahead of the curve.
It's like they say, adapt or get left behind. Though, I imagine in this case, left behind could mean being stranded on a wind turbine in the middle of the ocean.
Let's hope it never comes to that.
Agreed. But in all seriousness, it sounds like the skills you gain in this line of work, those problem-solving, critical thinking, and adaptability skills, those could be valuable in all sorts of fields.
Absolutely. They're highly transferable, which opens up possibilities beyond offshore renewables. You could explore roles in project management, consulting, really anything where those skills are in demand.
There you have it. It's not just a job, it's a whole career path, with potential branching out in all directions. Who knows? Maybe some of our listeners will end up designing the next generation of wave energy converters or leading teams on the world's largest offshore wind farms.
Yeah, wouldn't that be something? It's an exciting time to be part of this growing industry, that's for sure.
It certainly seems that way. Well, we hope this deep dive into the world of offshore renewable energy plant operators has given you a glimpse into this challenging, rewarding, and let's face it, pretty darn cool career path. It's a field that demands a lot, but the rewards are significant, not just for your own career prospects, but for the planet as we shift towards more sustainable energy sources.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Until next time, keep those career dreams big, and who knows, maybe we'll see you out in the open ocean someday.